Hey everyone, my name is Zaire, and join with me today is Ricky.
A very happy Final Fantasy VII fanboy.
Yes, he
very,
is.
Very happy.
And Ricky, was punching me, slapping me, screaming at me because I was fortunate enough to
this is not true, actually.
be at E3 2019 and the awesome Turks at that Final Fantasy VII booth.
The Turks.
Yeah, the Turks. They were super cool.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
But thanks to them, I, Zaire Perez from Hidden Item, got to play Final Fantasy VII Remake, and oh my god,
shit.
it's freaking amazing. And Ricky here
I've got some questions.
has some questions because if I don't answer them, he's going to keep me locked up in the basement.
Yeah, so here's your Final Fantasy VII Q&A based on a guy who played the demo.
Yes.
So I actually want to start this off with a question that my coworker asked me. And and I'm serious, this is a real question, okay?
Real question.
He says, why isn't this on phones for $20?
Okay.
He said they would make a lot of money if they did that.
Well, what's your coworker's name?
Gilbert.
Gilbert. Well, Mr. Gilbert, this feels weird. I'm in the hot seat for once. Mr. Gilbert, there is, if you don't know, an iOS port of the original Final Fantasy VII.
And I think it's $20
and
too.
I believe it's either $9.99 or $19.99. Check your local iOS stores or
and Android.
Google Play.
Yeah.
I think it was called. And that should help you there, sir.
But it's not the remake.
The remake is a great AAA title that is very ambitious and will pique interest and break the foundation and set a layer for what's to come in the Final Fantasy series.
It's just
so please
so
look
funny.
forward to it.
It's just so funny that so many people are like, is this coming to Xbox? No, my coworker, is this coming to phones?
Please look forward to it.
Yeah, it's just like, maybe if they stream it to Stadia one day, whatever.
Maybe.
Okay, for reals though, getting into the real questions, okay?
Real question.
I want to talk about
one.
the booth. How was the presentation there? You already mentioned the Turks, but I heard it was very akin to like starting a Disneyland ride.
So where I was working was right next to the Square Enix booth, so I always got to see it, and it was freaking awesome. As soon as you walk in, you're greeted to a big sign that says Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah, well, I would hope so.
The logo, and it is decked out kind of like if you were in Midgar.
Yeah.
And you see the big Mako reactor, like the big one.
That's
you blow
pretty dope.
up.
That's pretty dope.
And there's steam. I'll probably send you the photos so you can put in the video. You'll see steam coming out of it. Like
that's
if you were
pretty
part
cool.
of it. It was
that's
really
pretty
sick.
cool.
And where you were waiting in line, they treat it like if you were waiting to go on a train station. Like if you were in a train station, so.
See, because that shit like that reminds me of, getting on Star Tours at Disneyland or getting on the Guardians of the Galaxy ride where they do like the debriefing type thing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's cool because speaking of debriefing, so before you go in there, they give you a ticket.
Right.
And the Turks, call it your train ticket to get on the
Did you get to keep the ticket?
Oh yeah, they break a piece off of it and you get to keep the ticket.
Just like a real train ticket.
And the Turks freaking love them, super into character, you couldn't break them.
So it's Disneyland.
Yeah,
That's
it
cool.
was great.
That's cool.
Hazo was one of the games.
Couldn't break them out of it? You should have gone up to one of them and asked them where Genova was.
No, well, so it's cool. Like I was like, so what do I gotta be in the Shinra company? Because when you go in after they open the door and you get on the air quotes train, you get a debrief by a little video.
Yeah.
And it's like, Shinra is a great company. And you should
great.
also this is why
invest
you should
in
be
electricity.
Pretty much, that's what it was. And then
that's great.
and it was broken feed, and it's, hey, this is Jessie, blah blah, and then she debriefs you about like what to do in the game, and then she talks about combat and blah blah. And then she's like, "It's not the size of the sword. It's not the size of the sword. It's but how you use it." And that shit made me laugh so hard.
That's a great innuendo.
It was really great. Yeah. So
great.
the booth was amazing. You see like the numbers, like if you were in the train.
How would you rank this in terms of top 10 booths? Like, or top booths? Like, would this be up there?
This will be like number 3.
Oh yeah, what's number 1 and 2?
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I don't play these games, but Fortnite had a really sick booth this year. It was all over. They were giving out free food, like popcorn snacks.
That's pretty cool. I heard Cyberpunk had an open bar too.
Cyberpunk had a pretty sick booth. Unfortunately, I couldn't go inside, but
well, we're getting off topic here, so I'm gonna move on to the next question because that sounds awesome. So before we get into the rest of this, just tell me, what did the demo cover?
What did the demo cover? Okay, from the moment you leave like not the elevator, but when you're in that part where you're scaling down to plant the bomb.
Yeah.
From that moment, and
So
the
you're
Rad
already.
Scorpion.
So it started. You're already in the Mako reactor.
Yes, you're in the Mako reactor already. In the elevator, past the elevator. Literally, as soon as you're in that room, where you're going straight down into the Rad.
So you're like climbing ladders and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, it's just the environment was beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, and I forgot that there was treasure chests in Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, you forgot they were.
Yeah.
Did they look like the way they did before, where they're just yellowish
Golden,
squares? Golden squares.
No, they did not from what I remembered. No, they didn't look like that. But I was like, oh crap, they added treasure. I'm like, wait, they had treasure. Wow,
Yeah.
it's been a long time since I played.
Yeah,
Final
yeah.
Fantasy.
No, treasure chests aren't a new
Yeah.
thing. So what's the button layout? What were we working with?
Okay, so I have a photo. They let me take a photo of the actual.
Yeah, send that to me too.
I'll
so I
send
can
that
put
to
in
you
the
because
video.
I'm going to read to you off the top of my head.
Yeah.
X was to kind of open up your
Tactical mode.
Your tactical mode.
Right.
So you could open that up at any time you want.
Only if you got ATB.
No.
Really? You could open up even.
So you
Wow.
could still open it up because you could press X and switch your characters with left and right if you want like the little break to switch instead of just pressing left and right on the D-pad. Left and right on the.
So while we're on that, so you can bring up tactical mode without ATB, but you can't really do anything other than switch characters.
Right.
That's trippy. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
So, but if you want to switch characters on the fly, it's left and right on the D-pad.
That's pretty cool. So you can just give yourself a break and just be like, all right, what the fuck do I need to do?
Yeah.
At all points.
And it's cool because it kind of looks like they're moving in slow motion, but not really.
I love that aesthetic.
Yeah.
It's super slow, dude. I love it.
So, but outside of combat, R2, you hold R2 to sprint. And
I hate that.
And
You know what that reminds me of? Spider-Man.
yeah,
Not too into that.
but I was like, why can't I hold down the L3, and just press up? But
wait, sprint in combat.
no. You don't really sprint combat. I told you outside of combat. I don't
okay.
think you heard me. Yeah, outside of
Okay.
combat, R2, you hold R2 to sprint.
Okay.
And when you're climbing down the stairs or climb up the stairs, you can hold R2 and
And
it's-
slide down.
Yeah, it's funny because I kind of figured that out a little too early, and I just see everyone around me like just kind of walking around, and I'm just breezing through the demo. And you just see Cloud slide.
Oh, we got
down.
Mr. Pro Gamer over here.
Pro Gamer. Try to look at stuff. Square is to attack your
Yeah.
regular attacks.
Your physicals.
Your physicals. Hack and slash. Or if you're Barrett, you hold down square to use your gun.
Yeah.
Triangle, I forget. I think triangle
Punisher mode.
is your Punisher mode.
Yeah.
But because
It's funny. I asked you and I know the answers.
because when you have ATB,
Ah.
you could go into your tactical mode, which is X, and then you pick either your Punisher, your item, or your limit if you have limit.
Right.
And you build ATB. Am I going off?
No.
Okay,
Keep going.
okay.
Keep going.
You build ATB by as you're doing damage.
Right.
If
And
you-
also just normally, right? As time passes.
No, it was only if you inflict damage.
Really? Because when they were going down the breakdown of it at the Square Enix stage, the guy said you build it up every second, but you can build it up more if you're dealing
It
damage.
might have been that,
Yeah.
but to me, from what I remember from the debriefing video, it was like Jesse was like, "You build ATB."
Yeah, and they actually had video. Maybe you were just too into the moment to notice it, but they did show off that you do build up ATB normally by waiting around.
Okay, so you build ATB, and your partner, in this case Barrett, builds ATB also. I don't think as fast because
you gotta take control of them to do that. Okay,
let's see, circles to dodge roll.
pretty cool. I like that.
R1 is to
It's gonna be really
to
weird.
use your shield. I guess.
Being a Kingdom Hearts fan, it's gonna be really weird to dodge roll with circles.
It's gonna be weird to attack with square.
Well,
not X.
that's
issue
not
with
as much
that.
as a big deal for me, really. But I probably would have been attack with X, tactical mode with square. Oh no, tactical mode with circle, dodge with square. That's probably what I would have done.
I think you could switch. I'm pretty sure later you can.
I'm sure, yeah, something like that. But it's not that big a deal.
No, but let's see what else.
But hold on, I want to get back to Punisher mode because they didn't talk about this. So you hit triangle, you enter Punisher mode. What is that?
So you would get a selection of, I guess, special moves that aren't limit breaks that Cloud and Barrett can do. That will, like, for example, Cloud has a move where it's like a three hit combo where he jumps from one Shinra soldier to another Shinra soldier,
Oh, that's pretty
and then
cool.
to another one.
You know what? They actually
One,
showed
two,
that.
three.
They showed that in the trailer, but it didn't come across. They didn't say this is what Punisher mode is. So that's pretty cool.
There are a series of different attacks, and you can do different things off of it. But the cool thing about it,
Yeah.
and since we're talking about the combat now, I guess, unless there's a question.
No, there's
Okay.
no question. I mean, I got combat-related questions, but no, keep going.
The cool thing about it is that that Cloud and Barret, if you use your Punisher attacks and the enemy hits you, you'll get canceled out of it and you can't do it.
So you're like, so it leaves you super open then.
Yeah.
That's what I would have hoped for something like that.
It doesn't have super armor.
It's like I want to use this when enemies are staggered mostly, you know, stuff like that. Like I want to be able to
right.
Be punished and rewarded, you know? That's what I want.
If I remember correctly, the only thing that you have super armor with is your limit break.
Okay.
Because even and
well, because limit breaks you got to build up by taking damage, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah. You could only build up limit break if you take damage, unless there's an item or ability that changes that.
Yeah. And then you just bring that up in tactical mode.
Yeah. So you only could use limit break if you press X, go into tactical mode, and you'll see a little section that was highlighted off. Now is highlighted limit.
Where does it show how your limit gauge is being brought up?
So on the bottom right corner where your health is and your ATB is, right under there is a limit gauge. So you have your ATB gauge and your limit gauge. ATB, sorry, before you get to limit.
You call it gauge.
Gauge, gauge.
Because I think when I think of gauge, I think of those things you put on wounds.
I think of a gauze.
Yeah, no, that's why I think of that, because it sounds like it.
Gauge, gauge. I say both. Tomato, tomato. I'm pretty sure gauge is the right way to say it.
Your point's across. Anyways.
Yeah. Anyway, so I forgot to mention ATB. You only get 2.
Yes.
It's broken off 1, 2.
Yeah, that was shown.
That's the highest you can stack it.
Yes.
So under that is your limit break bar gauge, and yeah, it just charges up there. Whoop. And
so blocking is R1. You've told me this before. So when you're blocking, do you get the same amount of ATB as you would just normally getting hit?
I was too in the thrill of moment because there was
really
a lot of beautiful things. I couldn't notice that, and I wasn't blocking that much. Yeah, I was more dodge rolling because that's my play style.
Son of a bitch!
I really tried because
I'm a blocker.
You're a blocker. I'm a dodge roller.
Because I know how I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be like, okay, I want to build up this limit gauge, so I'm gonna block. You know what I mean? And I love that that's an option.
Right.
You know?
For me, I'm like, I gotta, where's my enemy's flank? I need to get to the back.
Speaking of being able to fight this, or being able to fight tactically, and that's what I like, how far can you get just by mashing square?
Not too far, actually.
That's pretty good.
You do gotta change things up because, like I said, the enemies, just like the enemies, you will stagger also. You know, if you get, like... the game reminds me of like Monster Hunter, where every attack you do, you have to commit. If I'm gonna hit square once, he's gonna do the attack. Yep. If I hit it 3 times, you do 1, 2, 3.
And how quickly?
You can't cancel it. Like
how quickly do they come out? Is it Devil May Cry speed?
Kind of. So you know how Cloud has a big sword?
Well, yeah, but so does Dante.
It's gonna take Cloud a while to swing the sword.
Because it looked to me like he was swinging it like butter. Like he was just going nuts.
Yes, but it's not like how Sora is in Kingdom Hearts, where Sora's just super fast and agile and stuff like that. And in Kingdom Hearts, you could, in the middle of attacking with X, you could just quickly do fire or cure, something like that. No, it's not like that.
I'm sure Tifa would attack a little bit quicker anyways.
Tifa.
Let's not get into that one.
Yeah, so it feels right.
Yeah,
you know,
that's good.
It doesn't feel clunky. It doesn't feel like too hardcore with your movement, but it's very committed. You have to be very committed to what you do, because I can't press square 3 times, cancel my second square move, and do a dodge roll or switch to a block. I can't. I really tried.
That's good to hear. I want to be able to be challenged here. Right. You know, I don't want to just breeze through like Kingdom Hearts 3.
Speaking of a challenge, I'll add this right here. You can only use, like I said, you can only use your item or healing abilities through ATB.
Yeah, they went through all that in the breakdown in the Square conference. How often did Barret take the load off your shoulders?
So I'm glad you asked this because I would have totally not answered it because I would have remembered. This cool thing is, with the bigger enemies, they will beat down, I guess, Cloud or the character you're on, or they'll just grab a random party member, and you will be like you can't do anything.
So you gotta switch.
So you gotta switch.
Yeah, they showed this off at the Square conference too, where Cloud is being held up, and they switched with Barret, and he did, I think it was a Punisher move or something. I couldn't tell. And he hit them, and he let go of Cloud.
Yeah. So because if you're there, if not, they're gonna take a lot of damage.
Is it? Yeah. Is it really a lot?
It's a lot of damage.
Wow.
Like I was like at 600 health, I think, and it brought me down to like 238.
That's a lot. That's a lot. And what's the max? What was the max roughly? Like 1200 ish.
I think I was like at 800 for Cloud.
Okay.
And,
yeah. So yeah, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
That's too much.
And you're so with Barret. Yeah, Barret. I switched over to him when the Rad Scorpion had me as Cloud. Switched over to Barret, and I was just holding square to hurry up and build up my ATB. And as soon as I filled up my ATB, I did not big shot, but like because I didn't tell you. Each move has a different like stat. It has a different stat to it. You know.
What do you mean it has a different stat?
Like from what I remember, is like this move will has a chance to stagger the enemy, or this chance.
Like that I like.
Yeah.
That I really like. And when you mean like has a chance to stagger the enemy, do you mean like just an instant stagger?
Yeah, like little like ooh, you know, or like for example, or this move will hit all enemies. Or
that's perfect, because that's one of the things I really liked about the Final Fantasy 13 battle system was its stagger thing, and that's one of the things that made it really good. And different moves had different effects on how it affected the stagger.
Yeah,
and I really like that.
So, for example, when I was doing tactical mode, for me, my brain was all in a rush.
Yeah.
Even though I was in tactical mode and I could take a breather.
Yeah,
I was like, oh shoot, like I don't want Cloud to die. You know, like how do I save Cloud?
Tense.
Yeah, I was very tense, and there was a move that said, "This is a one compact shot that will do. It's just a focus shot." And I'm like, okay, that sounds like something that will drop Cloud. And sure enough, I did that, hit the Rad Scorpion, and he dropped
and it
Cloud.
worked. Perfect, man. That's
really
great.
Cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
I'm really happy to hear that.
It's awesome.
So how seamless was switching to other characters? Was it weird? Was it janky?
It was not like Final Fantasy 15 where
I would hope not. I would hope not.
But it's kind of funny. You know, it's like I said, you could either do left or right, or you press tactical mode. You switch over with left and right, but if you do it in tactical mode, you have to pick something that they have to do.
Okay, so you switch over and choose a command?
Yeah.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, because I remember I was like, okay, I'm going back to Barret. Wait, no, I need to go back to Cloud. Wait, but then I had to leave tactical mode, and if I want to be Barret, I had to go press left again.
That's weird. I'm not too sure how I feel about that.
But I think that was just me, because I was, like I said, I was panicky.
Yeah.
Very seamless. If I press left, I will.
No frame rate hiccups when that happened.
Not really. I mean, mind you, this game was still I believe, in alpha.
Yes.
And the game
it might be pre-alpha.
It's beautiful. The characters still kind of look a little bit rough. They have that little square pixel magic.
I don't think that's gonna go away.
Yeah.
I think that's just a thing that they do. You know, if Kingdom Hearts had it, Final Fantasy 15 had it. I think we're stuck with it.
It's like you can't see my hand motion, obviously, if you're watching or listening to the audio right now. It does like a weird hill pan. Where like if I'm Cloud,
it goes up, it goes up,
and then
it goes in an arc. Is what
in an arc, up and around, up and all around.
So it looks nice.
Yeah, it's not. It's like it's like a dynamic camera.
Yeah. I actually didn't write this in, but were you able to not play as Cloud when you were out of battle?
No. So at the end of the battle, I had I switched back to Cloud.
Oh, it forced you?
Yeah,
so it is kind of like 15. Well, I mean,
I don't think they want you to walk around as Barret.
Yeah, probably not. That's just kind of weird. I mean, Final Fantasy 7 did that.
Right.
You know, you couldn't take Cloud out of your party in that one.
Right.
But, I mean, it's not a deal breaker. It's just... Yeah, I know some people would have hoped.
Yeah, like in Final Fantasy 15, I just wanted to play as Prompto no matter what.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you know,
if I want to run around as Tifa, I want to run as Tifa.
But like I said, the original Final Fantasy 7 did that. It is a story that revolves around Cloud.
Right.
There will be probably in part 3, 4, whatever part it ends up being, when you're not playing as Cloud and you're playing as Tifa or Cid. That might be a thing, but who knows at this point.
I don't know if you have this question down because we did talk about Stagger earlier.
Yes.
But I did want to mention, since before we leave combat, is that the enemy has a stagger bar.
Yes.
It feels like it's all the way up, all the way. And you have to break down that stagger bar to for it to stagger, and then you do extra
You mean
damage.
fill up the stagger bar?
No, you have to chip it down.
Oh, it goes backwards.
Yeah, it's
that's
it
interesting.
reminds me of Dragalia Lost, where you have the bar that builds up.
From what I could. Okay, it builds up and then.
And then, in Dragalia it builds up, but it's all the way up, and then you have to chip it down.
Yeah, well.
And once you chip it down, it inflicts a break.
Okay,
break,
that's interesting.
and then your enemy, or in this case the Rad Scorpion, will be like immobile,
Yes,
like it'd be like staggered, and then
so
you do a lot of. That's when they encourage you to use your limit break, to use your
what I saw,
moves.
what I saw is that it looked like Final Fantasy
Punishment.
13 more than anything. I mean, I don't know anything about Dragalia. I played it for a little bit and I didn't like it. But it like down to like the percentages and even the coloring of it, or the way staggered comes up on the screen when it happens. It was very like they ripped it out of 13 and put it in here.
So yeah, like if I'm pretty sure they showed off in the video, you'll see there's like a bar on the Rad Scorpion.
Yeah, well, one thing that 13 did though was the percentage could raise even after they're staggered. Was that a thing that you could do in this?
I think so. I think I was, because like I said, I was trying to move fast, and I was afraid that the stagger bar would go back up if I'm not constantly hitting it. But the boss does get enraged. There's a moment where, and they showed off in the Square press conference, where you move forward, and the Rad Scorpion does a very powerful move, and Barrett's like, you need to get behind the debris, or Cloud said it, he's like, you gotta get behind the debris, and or else you're gonna get like hurt really badly. And that's what happened. You have to get behind the debris, and if you're Cloud, you can't do anything. And if the Rad Scorpion has its tail laser attacking Cloud, you could switch over to Barrett and do damage afar.
Focus on the other guy.
Yeah,
that's
so
pretty
it's
cool.
really, really cool.
Yeah, I like that.
So if you want to be ballsy, you can do that, or if you want to be super safe, you can wait it out.
Okay, so we're still in combat, but was there a period of adjustment to learn how to play? Like, did you have to get your sea legs going?
Sea leg? Yes and no. Like I said, the briefing of the video did a really good job. Jesse explained everything really well.
Yeah, but like putting into practice, were you stumbling a little bit at first?
I mean, because I thought it would play like Kingdom Hearts. And then the more I play, I was like, oh, it doesn't play as like Kingdom Hearts. It kind of reminds me a little bit more of Devil May Cry and Monster Hunter, where you have to commit to everything that you do.
Yeah, you can't just hack and slash your way through.
You can't hack and slash.
That's the way it shouldn't be. It needs to be tactical.
If you, by any chance, thought this was going to be a Muso, no, this is not a Muso. It's like, it could be teetering to a pseudo Muso, but it won't be.
I don't think it's teetering at all.
No,
not by what I saw.
Like, I mean, because like the enemies, like I was saying, the regular enemies, like the Shinra soldiers, they will stagger you. They will shoot you, and if you're like trying to hit them with your sword, you're gonna hit. Like, Cloud's not a bullet sponge. He will get hurt, and he will stop.
That's good.
And like, yeah, it's.
Yeah, that was actually something I really wanted to know too. Is if the bullets treated you like Noctis, who was a bullet sponge, or if they actually had some kind of like. No,
they
feedback.
have a big impact. Yeah. You're not gonna be freaking just roaming around and
at the speed of sound.
At the speed of sound, exactly. Cloud does not have a thick skin. He's a squishy boy in this one.
So how much effort was needed to stagger the enemy?
Like I said, well, do you mean like the boss or like the enemies?
Just, both.
Enemies, they didn't really stagger. I mean,
did they have no bar for it?
Not that I saw.
Okay. So maybe the stagger system is
it's
case
more
by case.
Yeah, it's more towards the boss, where I did have to put in a lot of effort, to stagger the Scorpion.
Right.
Or the Scorpion Sentinel. There we go. Scorpion Sentinel.
Scorpion Sentinel.
But the Scorpion did have weak points, where if you hit those weak points, the stagger bar will go lower. It'll be chipped down even faster. Is
that the like appendages you could break off of?
Mm-hmm.
And then of course weakness magic. So lightning in this case.
Right. So. Yeah, back in the day, you had Bolt or Lightning, whatever it's called.
It was called Bolt back in the day.
So, yeah, back in the day, you would use that and it'd do critical damage to said enemy or the Scorpion Sentinel, and that carries over here. If Barrett uses Bolt, the Scorpion will take way more damage, and the Stagger will go...
Was it still called Bolt? Do you remember?
I think it was Lightning.
Okay.
I think that's what it was. And Barrett had it. Barrett was the one that had it for some reason.
Yeah, I think I believe the original Final Fantasy VII started with
Cloud had
having
ice.
it.
Cloud, yeah.
No, I thought he had lightning.
He had-
He had bolt magic.
Yes, you did in the beginning, but I mean, in the remake, he had ice.
Oh,
or
how was
blizzard.
that? Because that didn't show that off.
It looked like an ice
It
spell.
looked like ice.
Yeah, it looked like-
Did he like shoot it out like fire, or did he?
I think how it looked like he shot it off his hand. Like
Okay, so it's like he threw. It's
he
like,
threw it.
He's like, hold on, I went into my freezer. Take this.
Yeah, it's not like Sora's like fire and it shoots out of his keyblade. No, it looked more like
So like,
Cloud grabbed it out of his chest and was like,
so like his fire animation, but with ice.
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
that's
that's
what-
that's fair, I guess.
But yeah,
I don't know what else to expect out of that.
no, yeah, but the light guys, the enemies do have weaknesses. I don't remember if Bear was like, yeah, you gotta hit him with the light, the ice
No,
magic,
It was Cloud. It
or
was Cloud.
Cloud.
that said that.
Yeah,
With lightning magic.
Yeah, and that's another thing, man. The banter between the characters is just great. It reminds me a lot of Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah. Hold on. We'll get to that.
Oh, okay.
But first off, is the layout of the Mako reactor the exact same as we remember, or did they add some things? Is it at all different in any way, other than perspective, of course?
Well, where I started off the demo was right when you're in that room where you're gonna plant the bomb, but you're at the very top of the room. So right before you fight the Scorpion Sentinel, and all it was platforms and ladders.
So no slide.
So no slidey loop thingy mabob. It unfortunately, but I mean you got to make some sacrifices.
Yeah, that
along
was
the
more
way.
of
Aesthetic.
That was more of the aesthetic to the pre-rendered backgrounds, anyways.
Mhm.
I'm sure some things wouldn't translate exactly because that was very different tech.
I mean, yeah, because I mean, if you're Cloud and you're climbing that up, you're gonna slip and fall.
Is it really such a big deal if you're climbing rather than sliding? I mean, I don't
Sometimes
know
it's
about
cool,
that.
but I mean, it's just kind of from the demo way. Yeah, I start off platform, slide down the ladder.
But-
There was no beaten off path or anything like that.
So no off the beaten path areas. It was very linear.
yeah,
in a sense. I mean, mind you, when I say linear, the original Final Fantasy VII was linear. So
it's a very straight.
yeah, it's very straight.
like okay. Let me find the ladder. Oh, here's the ladder. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
gonna go down. Like, oh, I see a treasure chest over there. Let me walk over
So
there,
it's,
get it.
It's
and
mostly
then-
it's the same.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the same. So that's good. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
I don't want this like entire labyrinth to suddenly be created. Although
Yeah.
you did mention to me before that the save points were gone.
Yes. So the save points, they're gone. There's no more question mark. I actually looked
No
for
more
it.
question
I was like, hold on, where's
It's
my?
like, this is where it should be.
This is where it. Nope, it's not there. And I mean, that's the thing of its time. You know, I don't think this game's gonna
Nah,
have
it
save
shouldn't
points.
need that anymore. To be quite honest, auto saving's fine,
Or
especially in
s-
Animal Crossing.
Oh,
Oh, I just heard him.
Rossetti.
Anyways, I'm gonna bring you back up with Final Fantasy VII right
yeah,
now.
because now I'm gonna cry.
So the guard scorpion in Final Fantasy VII was
Scorpion Sentinel.
well, no, the guard scorpion in Final Fantasy VII was designed in a way to teach players about how the ATB system allows players to strategize by waiting sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously that was like the Goomba in Mario, you know, teaching you how to play the game.
Right.
Does the Scorpion Sentinel do a lot of the same? Does it keep that same design philosophy, teaching you how to play Final Fantasy VII Remake?
Yeah, because there are times where you have to wait out to do stuff. You know, the boss itself is like a puzzle.
Yeah.
Right, and you have to solve that puzzle. I'm pretty sure I said earlier, the Scorpion has like an overshield, and you can't hurt it,
Yep.
and you have to adapt yourself from that. And the only person that can hurt it is Barrett with his gun.
Right.
Cloud's sword bounces off. Magic don't work. Not even the lightning magic works on the.
That's
guard
cool
Scorpion or
because
the
I
Scorpion
didn't know that. Because what I would think in that situation was, oh, maybe lightning magic will work. But
Right,
but no, it doesn't work anymore. So that's
No.
really cool.
So I just had to switch over, and it teaches
adapt,
you
adapt,
That's what it is.
adapt.
Improvise, adapt, and overcome. Bam.
Right.
So yeah, like it's cool because it shows you that if I stagger the enemy, then I can do. This is a perfect chance to use my limit break if my
See,
limit break's up.
I really like that because even in the old Final Fantasy VII, you know, this had issues with it too, where you would come across a boss and you would get into the groove of one strategy,
Mhm.
and you would just for the next 10, 15 minutes, depending how long the fight goes, you would just do that on repeat, loop over and over and over and over and over, and then you win.
Yeah,
you
no.
know? Once you find the strategy, of course.
Yeah. So, fuck. I don't know where I was. Yeah. So you, in a sense, like I remember there's a part in the demo, where it makes like once you hit the stagger for the first time, or before the boss is gonna die, and then Cloud's like, this, or you just see a problem like this is a perfect chance to use your limit break because it's
It told you to.
it told
do
me
it,
yeah. There were times where it stops you mid battle like this is how you work this.
I don't quite know how I feel about that. Of course, it's got to teach you about the limit break somehow.
Yeah.
Sure. And like the original Final Fantasy VII, it kind of like forced limit break on you.
Yeah.
So that's how it would teach you.
Mm-hmm.
But in this case, since you do have to go into the sub menu for it, tactical mode, I guess there has to be some way to teach you.
Yeah, and you can only use limit break through tactical mode.
Yeah, I mean it's such a minor gripe. It's just sometimes a prompt to come up does kind of take me out of the experience, especially when I see like this insane ass boss battle,
oh my God,
just going
so
crazy with these set pieces all over the place and these different phases that require us to adapt on the fly, and like that's great. And then boom, prompt
like, dude, this is how you do limit break.
You know what I mean? Like
this is how you do
It
Punisher
is a
mode.
minor gripe, but it's. I feel like I do have to nitpick when it comes to things I don't like about this game because
That's
I
fine.
saw a lot. Yeah.
I mean, hopefully, if you ever do a new game plus mode or
And it's just not there.
It's just not there. Yeah. But for the people that were playing the demo and for new players that don't know,
Or maybe it won't even be a part of that fight. Maybe it'll come earlier.
yeah. Because like
That's another thing.
and yeah. So once you do the limit break, then you go into a cutscene. The boss had different phases.
That's what I just said.
Did you?
Yeah, that it had multiple phases, and then you told me about adapting on the fly and all that stuff.
My bad.
Hi, Zaire.
Sorry, it's been a long
But
day.
this next question is a very big question that's very important to you. Probably to you more so than most people. How did you feel about the new voice actors and how the characters interact with each other?
Okay, I'm just gonna put this out there. I love Steve Burton as Cloud. To me, Steve Burton will always be Cloud Strife. And the guy from NSYNC or Backstreet Boys will always be Sephiroth.
No. Wrong guy, dude. Wrong guy.
No, wrong guy?
Wrong guy. He only did it in the first Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, my bad. the guy that's not from NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys will always be Sephiroth to me. Because, you hear Cloud and his distinct voice.
Right.
And Sephiroth's like, oh, good to see you, Cloud. Like he has that, he
now-
has that darkness.
And when we were watching like the trailer from the State of Play, the first thing I said when I heard Sephiroth, I looked to you and I said, that sounds like young Zane, and then you were like, that sounds like Sephiroth. And then we pulled up the comparison, and then you were like, oh, that doesn't sound like Sephiroth.
So this new guy, he sounds like Cloud.
Yeah.
And we had a conversation before, like, when we were in one of the orchestras.
When we were leaving the orchestra.
When we were leaving the orchestra, where, you told me, you went to me and you're like, you know what, I love Steve Burton, but I can't see him as Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. I can't. It's impossible for me to hear Cloud say "Let's mosey" in Steve Burton's portrayal as Cloud.
I still can't.
And I told him, like, you're wrong. I could totally hear it, man. It just all depends on the vocal coach and blah blah blah. But then. Yeah, because like you're right with the whole. This Cloud is not mopey. Cloud is really different from Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, Final Fantasy VII Cloud is very different to what we got.
He's a dickhead.
And he's a dickhead.
Yeah, he's an asshole.
He's a little cocky. He's a little bit of an asshole. Sure.
Oh yeah. You get that Sonic the Hedgehog vibe.
He's definitely cocky.
Yes.
And he's imposed on some weird situations.
Yeah.
Like some weird stuff happens in Final Fantasy VII.
So with this new guy, it's like. You sound like Steve Burton. You sound like Cloud.
Yeah, you sound
but
like
you don't
Cloud.
sound like Steve Burton's Cloud.
Yeah.
But you still do a good job, and you
it's
get the
weird.
point across.
It's a weird juxtapose from what I saw, because like I'm sure you got a lot more of it, of course. But from what I saw from the trailers, it was and the gameplay stuff. It's like, yeah, I recognize that's Cloud, but there's something about the flexion of the voice when they're fighting, and like Cloud goes up and the Sentinel Scorpion brings up his armor, and then Barrett looks at him and says, oh, what do we do about this, genius? And then Cloud's like, I don't know, I've never seen this model before, or I've never seen this defense system before.
Mm-hmm.
And then Barrett says, well, I thought you were supposed to be the expert. And then Cloud looks back and says, well, what's your brilliant plan, genius?
Yeah, so
and I was like, that's perfect.
That's correct. Yeah,
That's
so
good.
the banter between those two are freaking great. So
Yeah,
with
and,
Barrett,
and on that note, as you're bringing up the banter, my next question was, what are some new dialogue exchanges that stood out to you?
okay, so this isn't exactly what the line was, but it had the same feel. It was like Barrett's like, you know, oh, my back hurts, and then Cloud's like, yeah, so's mine from carrying your ass all day. You know, that's the type of energy and interactions they get. Because
there was something I read online too. I mean, I know you're super excited about that whatever the interactions there.
Yeah.
But there was something I read online where Barrett was talking to Cloud, and he's like, oh, the planet's dying. I can hear it screaming. And then Cloud's like, you can really hear it screaming? And he's like, of course I can. And then Cloud just stares at him for a second, and he's just like, get help.
So yeah, like they it super reminds me of Final Fantasy 15, and the reason why I love Final Fantasy 15 so much is because of the interactions with the characters. They felt so real. Right. You know, and the interaction between Cloud and Barrett, it's super real.
Right.
You know, they're not just like dialogue box here, walk, dialogue box here. No, they're always talking.
Over-expressive things.
That's one thing I was really worried about.
Yeah.
You know, because back in the original Final Fantasy 7, to convey emotion, they had to, you know, make them super express them. Yeah. And that itself is an art. You know, and just, you know, seeing Barrett like shake his hands, and do you see the text boxes like with the signal,
the big
symbols?
Marshmallow guy,
big yeah, his Stay Puft comes out, and he's, you know, shouting number signs and ats and exclamation marks.
Yeah.
And you know, that's an art.
That I will say that it's impressive that they were able to capture what was done in Final Fantasy VII. That was probably, in my opinion, only possible because of the way it was being presented.
Right.
Yet they were still able to do the impossible and still capture that.
Right. So it still has that charm.
Yeah.
Somehow they brought that charm and made it more, well, not more. They made it more grounded, and they made it real. It works with the Final Fantasy remake, where, you know, Barrett's voice in this game in the remake, it is exactly how I would think Barrett's voice, or how I read it back in the day in 1996, 8.
That's good.
Whatever the game came out, 7.
That's really good, because Final Fantasy 7 has, I would say, the most iconic JRPG team, like, or characters, the team of the characters, and like if they screwed it up and like, just the slightest way, it would be a huge problem.
Yeah, and
you can't mess with that.
I remember reading this somewhere. I don't know if you sent it to me or I was just scrolling through social media, where the director, or the original director, what's his name? Something Kitase. Yeah, Yoshinori Kitase was like, this is Final Fantasy VII, the game we wanted to make back in the day. This is our original vision.
Yes, that is what
so when I'm looking at these trailers, I'm seeing it. You know, I see Cloud's and Tifa's relationship stronger. It's not just like, oh yeah, we knew each other in the past.
There is something Tifa said in the trailer where Cloud and her are like having a drink, and then she says, "Oh, I've got to do something." And she looks over to Cloud and says, "I feel trapped." And I was like, that's very different. Like, I never got that kind of impression with Tifa. Like, I get the feeling she wanted to do something. She felt she had to do something. But to say that she felt trapped, like that's like a whole other layer.
It's more character. It's a lot of character development, and you see it. And with these voice actors, you know, yeah, they're new, and it's not the voices that we grew up with. And it's a bummer, but at the same time, you know, we have to give them a try.
Right.
And from what I heard from the Final Fantasy VII remake demo, I like what I heard.
Incredible, huh?
Yeah, oh my god, the music. Oh, dude, the music was great, and it felt so perfect. Like when I was fighting the Scorpion Sentinel, you could hear the but it's way more grand.
Right.
You hear the orchestration. There's emotion, there's character, there's a feeling in the music which you don't really get nowadays in video games.
And Nobuo Uematsu is actually out of his retirement hiatus, is what he called it, because he was sick for a little while,
right? And
he is back composing for this game, and it shows, because that so music was incredible.
And you just hearing it, man, I wish you were there. Just hearing it,
like through headphones.
I kid you not, man. I almost wanted to cry, because I got pulled back in time. To when I first
heard it, whatever year that was.
It's mind blowing. I can't put words to it.
So obviously back then when you would go into fights, there was a transition. But since I'm assuming there is no transition now, how does the music transition from overworld to battle?
So,
Is it seamless? Is it like Kingdom Hearts where it just goes?
It's kind of from what I remember, because mind you, a lot of stuff was happening around, because as I'm walking, I do hear that original
Yeah, the Mako Reactor music.
Yeah, the Mako Reactor music, and then when you see the Shinra, so it's like, wait, stop. I think I heard the battle music, but I was still kind of like, oh my god, this is a brand new game. I gotta figure out this.
You're too excited.
Yeah, and the grunts, you got Cloud, and it's just so weird hearing. I'm gonna let you know this. It's so weird hearing Cloud do grunts that are not Steve Burton. Grunts. And I mean, it's something I have to get used to, and
I think that's something you could get over.
Yeah, and I will miss Steve Burton as Cloud.
I think this new guy will be fine.
Yeah, I mean, I hope one day they can reprise.
One thing is he did tweet out. I can't remember his name. It's like Christian or Cody or it's something with a C. I can't remember.
Cloud.
He's Cloud. He's Cloud. So Cloud tweeted out. No, he tweeted out saying he understood the how important this character is and how iconic he is, not just to JRPGs or Final Fantasy, but to video games.
Right.
And just the medium. And he's taking it super seriously. And I was like, all right.
And you did mention one thing before we go on, something about or your theory of what they're doing with the voice actors.
Right. So
let's just get that out.
Yeah. So we kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but the characters in Final Fantasy VII are very different to how they're represented in other things like Kingdom Hearts or Advent Children, Dirge of Cerberus, etc. Cloud's mopey, but he's not that mopey.
No, not in 7.
Not in 7. He's like you said, he's kind of a jackass. He's very cocky. He's Mr. Cool Guy.
Yeah. He's a punk.
He's very sassy. And he gets in weird situations, and I feel like they might have changed voice actors because with Steve Burton, he's too used to playing Cloud a specific way that it doesn't translate to what Final Fantasy VII is.
And they changed all the voice actors.
And yeah, all the voice actors are changed to accommodate for this. And like some of these are like, okay, Aerith's voice actor in Kingdom Hearts wasn't that great to begin with. It was very breathy, very weird to me personally. Tifa was okay too. But they had to change them all to accommodate this change where they have to bring them back to what they were. And I'm okay with that.
And you said something something about they might, when it comes to Dissidia.
Yes. When they do Dissidia or Kingdom Hearts or whatever, they are going to retain their old voice actors.
Cool.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about Steve Burton going away anytime soon. Smash Brothers.
Here's hoping.
But anyways, so the grunts when they came out, how did they come out? Were they like were they situationed in certain areas, or did they pop out of nowhere Kingdom Hearts style?
So it's not like when Sora, when he attacks, it's not the same like take this.
No, I mean when the enemies appeared in front of you, did they turn the corner, or did they just appear out of thin air like the Heartless?
They were already there.
Okay, so they're just standing there and you just walk up. Okay.
Because you said grunts, so I was confused.
No, I meant like the grunts, like the soldiers.
Those kind of grunts. Oh, okay.
The soldiers.
Yeah,
the Shinra
my bad.
Soldiers.
The Shinra soldiers. That is a tongue twister.
Shinra soldiers. There you go.
They were already there.
Right. So you just walked up to them.
Kind of, yeah.
See, that makes me wonder how they would be situated other areas, because obviously they're not just gonna out of a dark corridor of darkness just out of nowhere. That'd be weird. That'd be like that'd be some meta ass shit, dude. But
just came from the mock.
I just wonder how grinding is gonna be in this game. That's what I'm trying to get at here.
I don't know if you level up or anything like that.
You do.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the gameplay trailer, there's like a very brief, like maybe half a second, where you see the level up thing come up. And it's like Final Fantasy 15, where it just kind of appears in the middle of the screen.
Okay.
So, yeah, you don't worry about that.
I would think it's like they'll handle it like how 15 does, where something will show them, like, we'll bring him out.
Right. All right, so this will be the last... Well, we're coming up on the end here.
Okay.
And I'm going to end this off on, like, a heavy one.
Okay.
Because
this heavy doc.
Because Final Fantasy VII is a really, really special game to so many people.
Right.
It's set a
statement.
Its graphics haven't aged well, sure, right? But everything outside of that, gameplay-wise, story-wise, character-wise, everything else has aged tremendously well. And for me, I learned how to read because of Final Fantasy VII. I was 5 years old, and I was reading many grades ahead, like over the other kids, and it was all because of Final Fantasy VII. And I remember being around, like, telling the story of Final Fantasy VII to my kids, and it was to my classmates.
Do you have kids?
to my friend kids, whatever. And they were treating it like I was preaching religion, because like they'd be like, well, then what happened? What happened next? What happened next? What happened next? Because I was the one going through it. I was the one learning how to read, and I would even be like looking at billboards and everything as like in the car, reading every single billboard out loud, because when you're a kid, you read out loud before you read in your head. And I'm reading them out loud, and because I didn't want to forget how to read, so I could go back home and just start playing Final Fantasy VII again.
And read from there.
Yeah, and then keep going.
Right.
That's why I was able to read so well, even though it was broken translation. That's how I did it. And so, as you can imagine, for me, Final Fantasy VII is super special to me.
Right.
It was one of those things that changed my life, and it changed many other people's lives. That's why I really want you to think about this question, Zaire.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah, I really want you to think about this question, because this is kind of a big one. But
okay.
So could this remake possibly be better than Final Fantasy VII?
Ooh.
Does it have the potential?
Ooh. Okay. Oh man. Okay. Damn. Well, think about it like this, man.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
I'm a huge nostalgia guy. Like, nostalgia really, like, plucks my strings.
Yes,
and
this is well known. This is a documented fact.
Documented fact here on Hidden Item. But here's the thing, man. Here's a good example.
Good example. Here we go.
Resident Evil 2 remake.
2. Right.
Fantastic remake.
I think it's better than Resident Evil 2.
I think so too. But if I go back and play Resident Evil 2, there's a charm to it, and you grew up with it.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, not me though. And with Final Fantasy VII, where I grew up with that game, you grew up with it. A lot of people grew up with Final Fantasy VII, and Final Fantasy VII set a statement.
Mm-hmm.
It set a statement for all these JRPGs or any RPG for the future. It reminds me of The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, where that game also set a statement.
It also helped put PlayStation on the map.
Right. So to many people, Final Fantasy VII is their first Final Fantasy.
Yes.
And to them, it's a gospel.
Uh-huh.
No other game can beat it.
Except maybe itself. That's why I'm asking the question. That's why this question came up.
So with this remake, I can see myself liking the remake if it's done well. I can see myself liking the remake more than I like the original, or have them next to each other, because I can acknowledge the original. I love the original Final Fantasy.
The original's great.
It's amazing. It's great.
In the Video Game Hall of Fame for a reason.
And it's like I said, it set a statement. It set the bar. It impacted video game society. Yeah, Final Fantasy VII Remake. It has a huge job. Its job is to give you what Final Fantasy VII gave you, but surpass that at the same time.
Right.
So, can I see it be better than the original? If Square is handling it with as much care as it is right now, yeah.
All the way to the final part.
All the way to the final. Yeah, if they just 179 and to the millionth percent.
777%.
Exactly. if they do that, love, care, tender, everything. No cutting corners. Take your time with it. People will wait to play this game. Yes, I can totally see the remake be more favorable in my eyes than the original. That doesn't discredit the original in any way.
Oh no, original's great.
The original is still amazing, and I could always go back and play the original. But I'll tell you this, I'm really excited to play the remake, and especially that it's doing a new combat that I prefer.
Right.
And it's unfortunate to the people that want the original combat, but this is something new. They had to do it for Resident Evil 2 Remake to keep it fresh.
Right.
Final Fantasy VII has to keep it fresh.
They couldn't exactly do a carbon copy because then it's just a remaster.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I can. My answer is yes. I can see this game being
Better.
if not at the same caliber as the original.
See,
Final Fantasy VII.
that's a really bold thing to live up to.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for this game.
And
obviously,
I hope I don't eat my words, man. I hope it does live up to that caliber.
right. Obviously, I hope it does that too.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's here's hoping that it's able to live up all the way to the final part, however many parts that is.
You know, Nomura, Kitase, the whole development team, Square Enix. You know, you keep going forward. You know, don't drop this ball. This is your moment.
It's like, yeah, this is the one. Kingdom Hearts 3 came out, and you know that came out mixed, but like it was okay. That can happen to that game,
right?
It cannot happen to Final Fantasy VII.
No, because in the beginning we were worried that it wasn't in-house.
Very, very worried that CyberConnect 2 was doing it. And
I mean, they're not bad publishers, but it's like this is a game you want in-house.
Yeah, in-house, exactly. Like, why would you want someone else to do your biggest game of all time?
Right.
Like this?
The game that puts you like super duper omega like
on the map.
I mean, you're already well known, but
not to that extent.
Not to that extent.
To the part where you defined a console generation, you know?
Yeah.
And we were very, very upset, worried that CyberConnect 2 was doing this, and then they brought it in-house, and I was still worried because not only did it seem like they had to start over from a certain point, but it just the fact that they started with CyberConnect 2 like told me they're not taking this seriously, you know? And so I was very worried, and for years since we last saw it at PSX 2015, I whenever it was brought up between you and me, I would say that game's going to be bad. It's going to come out and it's not going to be good. And it didn't help that they said it's in multiple parts. It still is, but I'm feeling a little bit better about it now.
Right.
But regardless, once the curtain lifted and they started going through this is how you play the game, they started showing more and more of it, not immediately, because I saw the hack and slash thing. It wasn't until they hit X and went to tactical mode where I flipped. And I was like, this is brilliant. Show me more. And by the end of I was super excited and super into it.
And we both bought the $400 collector's edition.
Don't remind me.
And let me tell you, I saw how big that motorcycle is. It's the reason why it's $400.
I'm still not sold on like that it's worth the price.
Yeah, it's a big $380.86
after shipping and tax.
After shipping and tax, you know, I'm not gonna pay $50 for shipping.
Not when we're already spending that much.
No, I still need to build a PC. Yeah. So Zaire Perez from Hidden Item, do believe this game has potential. What about you, Ricky? Let me ask you that question. How do you feel?
See, that's loaded. That's loaded for me because
you're a huge fan.
Huge Final Fantasy fan. Probably the one of the biggest Final Fantasy VII fans you could come across. It is my most replayed game since I first played it when I was 5. I had replayed it every year since, and that's 19 years, 20 this year. But I've definitely replayed it more times, like more than once a year in some years, in some cases, especially because they released it on phone and
it's
PSP.
It's like your comfort game. It's your annual year.
Exactly. It's the game I go to escape. It's the game I go to feel good, and I know that game like the back of my hand at this point. You know, I know where everything is. I know what the lines of dialogue are, and I know the best ways to take down enemies. I could play that game blindfolded, you know.
Bet. Hidden Item first, right here, right now.
So right. Let's do that. Blindfolded. I'll do it entirely based on music.
That's a weird kink, but okay.
Well, and my point is, I played this game over 20 times.
Right.
Start to finish. I didn't always go for the 100, but nonetheless, I reached the credits more than 20 times. I platinumed the game.
Right.
And when I saw this, and I marinated it for a little bit, I was watching with 2 of our buddies, and I turned over to them, and I was like, this could be it. This could be what brings Final Fantasy VII to today and modernizes it and makes it better than what it could have ever been and what it was supposed to be. Right.
This is that your like answer?
I'll say it definitely has the potential. Whether or not it succeeds, but I don't want to hold out. I'd rather hold out hope for that than expect it. because Final Fantasy 7 is just that thing for me where it's too special to be better, really. Even if it was better, I don't think it would be the exact same for me. But I'm trying to picture a world where Final Fantasy 7 Remake comes out and I never go back to the original Final Fantasy 7.
That's gonna be tough.
You know, like that is weird to me.
Because I take that, you know, and I bring that. Imagine if they remastered the Legend, not remastered, they remade the Legends of Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, would you go back?
Majora's Mask. You know,
yeah, would you go back?
It's just, it's tough, you know. It's a huge,
yeah,
it's a big deal.
And so, like this year, I'm gonna obviously play through Final Fantasy 7 again, with or without the remake. I was gonna do that regardless,
right?
Because that's just what I do,
right?
And it's not literally just like, oh, it's August now.
August 13th.
It's like, I haven't played it this year yet. I got it. No, that's not what it is. It's I literally get in the mood for it.
Right. Yeah. It's like with one of our friends. Every year he watches the Lord of the Rings extended version, The Hobbit.
Yeah, but he doesn't do it on a calendar schedule.
No,
he just gets in the mood.
It's like, yep, that's about that time.
Yeah, it's like, yep, I've been away from this for a while. I want to play it again. You know.
And everyone has that one thing. At least I hope. If not, then you know, well, but
right.
A lot of us do, and. You know, this remake, I believe, will blow our expectations out of the water.
Yeah, it's just if there's a reason why I don't play Final Fantasy 7 again next year, it'll be because I just played the remake, and it's probably too soon to get back into the world of Gaia, Final Fantasy 7 Gaia, and maybe I'll play it the year after that. Who knows? Like that's what's so mind-boggling to me. The year after Final Fantasy 7 Remake comes out, do I play Final Fantasy 7 again, or do I play Final Fantasy 7 Remake again? That's what I'm very curious to find out.
Yeah. So if anyone
make bets.
Make bets. If anyone wants to or is interested in Final Fantasy 7, if you never heard, not heard, but if you never got into it, you know, I do highly recommend play the original first, so you can appreciate
in between now and
March 3rd, 2020.
I will say this: if you do go back to the originals, like I said way earlier, the graphics don't exactly hold up. It's one of those things where it's charming if you grew up with it, and if you jump into it now, it's butt ugly. And but the game, the combat, and the materia system,
it transitions well.
Yeah. Well, it didn't translate very well. They fixed the translation in the PS4 port.
No, I mean the combat and how how materia works. Like it's still good to this day.
Yeah, no, that's still it's perfect. Yeah. It doesn't. Well, I have my gripes with how it treats the characters and how everyone's an everyman, but that's such a minor thing. At that point, you just have so much freedom. You know, it's like it's whatever, really. But yes, the materia system's great. The combat is great. The creativity you get with it, the story is great. The characters are great. It's awesome. It's timeless. That's a timeless game.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited for the remake. I think it can be better though. Yeah. I can imagine myself a year after Final Fantasy Remake comes out, and then I play Final Fantasy 7 Remake again. Like I think that's realistic. Where I just feel like playing that instead of the original. I think it's possible.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Square is doing an amazing job with it. They're what for me what was the kind of spark that is when I saw, you know, that each character is kind of different, where I can't reach an enemy with Cloud. I have to switch over to Barret and stuff like that. Just kind of and just how the characters are and how they talk and how they interact. That to me
it's true. And to that point, like since I've played Final Fantasy 7 so much and went on into its side stuff too, these characters, they're fake characters, they're digital characters, recreations, they're zeros and ones, but they feel like family.
Right.
You know,
you care about them.
I know them.
There's a reason why you have a Cloud Strife.
Literally, we're in the treehouse right here, and I have a picture of Cloud Strife and his Advent Children, or a wall scroll of Cloud Strife and his Advent Children outfit, just being all cloudy. Look at him, all cloudy.
Cloud Mopey
Cloud.
That's
Cloud.
Steve Burton Cloud.
That's Steve Burton Cloud right there.
And people dedicate their lives just to content create just for Final Fantasy. There's people right now making videos specifically for Final Fantasy 7 Remake, their whole channel, and Final Fantasy 7, is what motivated them to do that.
Right.
And there's cosplayers, people that dress up as these characters because they want to, be that character.
Right.
And it's so cool. And like I said, yeah, I don't think we have anything to worry about because Square.
I
believe in Square.
I think you see, the thing is, I don't believe in Square, but I believe in this specific project.
Right.
You know, I think they're gonna do this justice, and if they can, they're treating this as Final Fantasy 16 for one, and if they can do the actual Final Fantasy 16 after this, and then bring it to this quality that we're already seeing with 7 Remake, then 7 Remake may just be the best thing Square Enix has ever done, because not only will it bring back a beloved game in the best possible way, but it could also put them back on the right track.
Yeah.
Here's hoping, right?
Here's hoping.
But to that point, we're reaching the end of this. So, is there anything else you really want to say about 7 Remake?
I just want to say a huge thank you, you know, to Square Enix, to the people at the developers,
The Turks.
Oh, dude, the Turks were so at the Turks at E3. Those two were amazing. You know, just E3 itself, you know, and the company I worked for, that allowed me to be there. Thank you, you know, and that gave me the ability to talk to you about this, and to the audience who's listening. You know, I wish all of you can play it. I really do. Like
March 3rd.
March 3rd. Yeah, I wish
whether or not it hits that release date, you know, let's hope yes, March 3rd.
Right.
Sometime.
And you know, I can't say much, but just thank you. You know, thank you for this experience. I'm grateful that, you know, I'm still alive.
To see this happen.
To see this happen. And you know, this game defined a lot of us who we are, you know, and yeah, it's hard. You know, I'm speechless.
Yeah, I'm amazed it looks as good as it does.
Yeah,
From everything I saw at E3, some things are pretty impressive. Cyberpunk stands out, of course. Final Fantasy VII Remake. From the moment they started that shit up, I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
This is the game. This is the game of Ricky's show.
Right.
For E3. This is Ricky's game of the show.
Right.
Definitely.
Other than that, guys, I have really not much to say.
No, nothing else.
You have nothing else to say,
Nothing
Ricky?
else to say.
Well, since you have nothing else to say,
yeah,
and I'm pretty much done, I would
Yeah.
like to thank everyone for listening and tuning in. Also, if you liked this Q&A session, leave us a like and comment below what you...
Zaire will answer stuff in the
Yeah.
comment section if he can.
If I can answer it, I'll respond to you. If I can't, I'll be like, you know what? That's a great question. Please look forward to it.
Look forward to it. This cloud cross dress. Please look forward to it.
Look forward to it. And we'll see if I can make a follow-up video to it. You know, on my biggest sad thing is that Ricky couldn't be there to experience it.
Right.
But yeah, comment below, subscribe if you're new. We have a lot of stuff coming, especially now that E3's over and I'm back in San Diego. I can talk more and be here. We have a bunch of different videos, Kingdom Hearts Retold.
Yeah, go ahead and check that stuff.
Check those out. Share this video to your friends because we did go in depth with a lot of stuff.
As much as we could.
As much as we could. So share the video. You know, talk about it. Let us know what you liked and disliked, and we'll have a good conversation. Other than that, my name is Zaire from Hidden Item, and I'm wishing you a great best one. Ricky, say something. Take a bow.
Take a bow.
Take a bow. Something.
Something.
Bye.